Hi, I'm Heather Smith and welcome to Cloud Stories, a podcast exploring the accounting and business apps community. Stay up to date with the curated content I'm sharing by signing up to the Accounting Apps newsletter, available at heathersmithau.com. Today I'm speaking with Scott Wiltshire, Vice President and General Manager of Oracle NetSuite Australia New Zealand. Founded in 1998, Oracle NetSuite is the world's first cloud company. For more than 25 years, NetSuite has helped businesses gain the visibility, control and agility to build and grow a successful business. First focused on financials and ERP, they now provide an integrated system that also includes inventory management, HR, professional service automation, and omni-channel commerce used by more than 37,000 customers in 219 countries and dependent territories. In this episode, we talk about the triggers that would lead you to move from an app stack centered around the smaller GLs like QBO or Xero to an ERP solution like NetSuite. It's interesting to note that NetSuite has Suite apps, which are a collection of third-party NetSuite integrations vetted and approved by Oracle NetSuite. At the SuiteWorld 2023 conference, there were hundreds of vendors representing apps from the Oracle NetSuite marketplace. Some that listeners may be familiar with include Expensify and Approval Max. As well as Suite apps, bespoke solutions can be built for NetSuite users. My understanding is that sometimes users opt to use a third-party application rather than a similar module available within NetSuite due to its functionality, flexibility, or pricing. So essentially, you could have an ERP-level app stack. I was kindly hosted by Oracle NetSuite to attend their largest annual gathering of the NetSuite community at their flagship conference, SuiteWorld 2023 in Las Vegas. Welcome to the Cloud Stories podcast. Scott, thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to have you here.
My pleasure.
Can you share with us who you are?
Sure.
Where you're from and what do you do?
Okay, yes, absolutely. My name's Scott Wiltshire. I'm the Vice President and General Manager for Australia and New Zealand for Oracle NetSuite. So I am lucky enough to lead the Australia and New Zealand operations for our NetSuite solution and NetSuite team. We take our NetSuite Cloud ERP to market. I'm from Sydney, Australia, Northern Beaches specifically, but currently sitting in Las Vegas at our global user conference, SuiteWorld.
Which is very sweet, isn't it?
Everything's sweet. Everything's sweet around NetSuite. It's amazing.
Yes, where the theme is, I think, sweet up, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So let me jump in with the sort of the hard questions initially.
Okay.
How does NetSuite stand out from other ERP solutions?
Right, okay.
Now that we've given away the sweetness of it.
It is, besides being much sweeter than our competition. So the unique thing about NetSuite is, hopefully you've seen a little bit about this. We saw our founder, Evan Goldberg, up on stage.
He was very impressive to be founder 25 years later. Still here with
exactly.
One of those blow-up car parky flippy doll things on the stage with him as well.
Oh, yes, the wacky inflatable arm flailing
you've
car sales
got to be a brave person
promotional
to get up on stage with
He
one
did a
of
great
those.
job there, didn't he? But yeah, I mean, he's part of our the biggest part of our story, I think, is, we were founded 25 years ago, and we were born in the cloud. So back then, we've always been one version of the system over the internet only. There's never been an on-premise. We've never had to re-platform because of, we've acquired all these cobbled together solutions, or they're on-premise and we've put them onto cloud. It was born in the cloud from day one. So their architecture, Evans was the CEO, but obviously the chief architect or the CTO from day one and still is today.
Oh,
right?
My goodness.
He's the visionary for the product.
Oh.
So to have that, there's another part of that uniqueness is having that very clear vision for where we wanted to take NetSuite from a architecture perspective, from a solution perspective, has been very steady, very single focused for all of these years. So we're extremely lucky to have that. That's very rare, and it's rare. Absolutely unique to our competition. So what do we do better? Well, we're born in the cloud, where all 37,000 customers are on the same version of the product. The product gets newer every year, not older. We provide or release 2 major upgrades every year, and we do something like 300 minor updates during the year as well. So, as my customers keep telling me, this is the last ERP they'll ever need. It grows with the customer. And our engagement, we've got a huge customer base. We've learned a lot about ERP in Australia and New Zealand, but obviously around the world as well. So our engagement style now is really helping people unlock the value of NetSuite. And you'll see, we talk about suite up or unlock the suite. Again, plenty of suites there. But that's about just engaging with clients to help understand their business, how their business is evolving over time, because, the businesses that signed up with us, even last year, they're different businesses to what they were last year. But certainly if you've been with us for many years, your business is changing rapidly over that time. The marketplace is changing, the industries are changing. But not only that, NetSuite's changing too. It's getting better and better and newer. So we do a lot of work with our clients to provide them a dedicated account management team to ensure they're getting the most out of the system, and it's being tailored or utilised in the best possible way to provide the most value for their business.
No, it's very interesting. I know that bumping into people around here who are working for NetSuite, they tell me the culture, it has a wonderful culture. It sounds like that's sort of been born from 25 years ago as well. Absolutely,
yeah. I mean, I've been at NetSuite for 10 years. The average tenure in some of our teams is just amazing. I'm by no means like an old timer, so to speak. I bump into, you've seen Evan's there for 25 years, but there's still a crew, 15 plus years. And I think that speaks to the culture of the business. When you can retain your staff, keep them happy, they're still turning up to these events, feeling super excited. I mean, it's just so energizing to come to a place like this and see the potential of NetSuite and see the ecosystem. Got a huge partner ecosystem, obviously a huge customer ecosystem. To see all this energy in and around NetSuite, it's a real shot in the arm. I love it. And I think that we all feel that. And I know when I go back to Australia, we're not lucky enough to have the entire operation on pause, so they can come here to see that. There's plenty back in Australia, but we do regional events like this, which are very similar. Okay. Just a smaller version, obviously, but it gives the same sort of impact. I know I always sort of joke, you come to an event like this and it makes you a NetSuiter for life. And it really does. My management team's been around for multiple years, and they're all here thinking, wow, this is so cool. So we'll go back and take that energy to the market and share the messages, all the latest product releases, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. So many of our listeners are sitting in this SME space and talking about they're sitting on app stacks, which was very much a negative or anti-app stack keynote this morning.
Yes.
It was very focused on the sort of single source of truth, being a single source of data truth. So what are the key triggers or indicators that they should be contemplating an ERP solution like NetSuite? So the accountants and the bookkeepers, they've got clients who are sitting in the SME space, probably the M space, the medium space. What are the triggers that they should be going, okay, we need to start talking NetSuite. Might not be me, but we just need to have an introduction with someone.
Yeah. So what are the triggers? So we work with a lot of companies that start to outgrow accounting, right? We really cater to the small, medium size, but all the way up to multi-billion-dollar companies as well. Like I said, NetSuite can grow with you, so we are, partner for life in that regard. But what are the triggers? So often, if you're an accountant, your finance team, you're starting to think of you might have more than one in your finance team. You're starting to think about your financial close processes and thinking, man, this is taking too long, making a lot longer than it should be. You're doing manual consolidations, things like that, and you're thinking, wouldn't it be nice for a system to take over this, get rid of all this manual processing? When you're struggling to get visibility into your business, like real-time visibility that you need to provide actionable insights to your team, so they can make more data-driven decisions. When those things, they're the triggers. So the people coming to us are saying, we've got too many systems. I need that single source of truth. Or my financial close process or my consolidations are taking too long. I can't give accurate reporting to the board. Yeah. Or I've just had to go back to the CEO for the third time and say, sorry, here's the actual numbers. Those last ones, ignore those. If you've ever had any of that experience, you should be talking to NetSuite, because we can help you. Right, this is the beauty of NetSuite. You can start very small. It is cloud. It is consumption based, so you can bite small, chew fast. You can take a little bit, scale up and scale down if you need to. And there's a much better way, and provide the CEO a dashboard so they can log in and get the real numbers.
I think it's really important for them to hear that you can actually start small. So if you are
absolutely small businesses,
seeing issues, then it's something that you need to start contemplating.
Absolutely, yep. Come and talk to the team. Reach out to us. www.netsuite.com. And just check it out, and we can take you through a product demonstration or something like that to see if it's suitable for you now. And if it isn't, at least you'll know in the future if you start thinking about scaling your business. Sooner the better. The longer the sooner you're on NetSuite, the longer you're on NetSuite, the more value. And we know we've got the data that supports that. That's why we're changing some of our licensing to more flexible arrangements to bring more people on, because more people in your business using NetSuite, the more efficiencies you're going to gain, the more value you're going to see.
Look, and that's a really interesting. I think has that been an announcement? Like, I know they've talked about it. Is that a new thing?
That's a new
flexible licensing. So that's right. Really important that people are aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does that mean? That means that we also have financial users or general users that you pay a certain amount for, but we're going to look at cut down user licenses for warehouse workers or maybe support, that sort of thing. So again, it's just providing that flexible option so you can bring more of your team into using the system, interacting with the single sort of source of truth, or working from the same page.
So, Scott, what do you see as some of the trends impacting Australian-New Zealand the business landscape?
Sure. So there's a couple of things. Obviously the adoption of cloud technology is, first and foremost for us, but we're not really selling the cloud story too much these days. Most of that trend has kind of come and it's here to stay. I don't know whether Hopefully. It's a trend anymore, but our customer base typically all have a cloud-first policy, right, or a strategy around, let's use cloud-based technologies because we don't want to focus on IT and maintaining systems ourselves and the costs and the overheads and all of that. So that's absolutely there. Obviously, the biggest hot topic at the moment is AI. As you've seen from the keynote speeches and the product releases, we've got an amazing roadmap of something like 80 solutions built from that incorporating AI to help businesses achieve, do more with less effectively. So that's a trend that's not going away, but I'm sure the hype cycle will come down a bit. But as we release those functionality, it's going to have a huge impact for our customers, for NetSuite users, because, again, it's their core system of truth. So as you're interacting with the system, if it's starting to kind of key ahead and suggest actionable insights for you, just the sky's the limit in terms of, like, what does this mean? I mean, imagine keying in interacting with records in the system, and it's populating a lot of the content for you and suggesting things that you can really action in that same screen to maybe to upsell or cross-sell, or sell products at the right place, the right time, products that are in stock or higher margin or something like that. So there's some really amazing announcements there, and that's in line with the themes that we're seeing. The one other theme that I'm noticing, I've personally noticed this over the 10 years that I've been in the business. 10 years ago, when we went to customers, or they're looking at evaluating NetSuite and they decided to go with us, you can customize NetSuite to a very large degree, and those, the two major releases still carry those customizations forward. So it's a fantastic opportunity for us. But 10 years ago, customers were really starting with a blank piece of paper and trying to design their own ERP, asking for very unique accounting processes because their business is unique. Thankfully, that trend is really shifting to more of adopting leading practices. So we're getting larger, far more sophisticated businesses than I've ever seen before, far more complex businesses than I've ever seen before come to us and say, we want to adopt leading practices. You've done this 37,000 times. You might know something. I've only done this once or twice, in my career. How about you tell us how this should work and how we should run, financial systems or processes for my type of business. And that trend's really good to see, Yeah,
that is a great trend, because I know that you're just like, why have you created something new? We can just do what everyone else is doing. It will work. It will work.
Well, it just means every implementation is unique when we do that, and that means that the time, it blows out, the cost, the expense can blow out. But adopting leading practices, NetSuite is very unique to this. We know how to do this so much that we will give you a fixed price quote for your implementation. So if it runs over, we wear it.
Yeah.
That is absolutely unique in the industry, and we can do that because we, again, 37,000 times, we have that experience to say, we'll put our money where our mouth is. Here's how a business like yours should operate from its kind of financial processes. Sure, you can chop and change a little bit here and there, and we can account for that, no problem. And everyone does to a degree, but generally only a small degree these days, thankfully. But then, we can roll you out, and the sooner you're up and running, the sooner you're interacting and using the system, the sooner you're getting value and driving efficiencies, reducing cost. And that's what we're here to do. That's the game.
I imagine if you're implementing, sort of saying, okay, this is a streamlined implementation, this is typically the way we see it done, it actually makes it easier to hire people who've worked in another NetSuite solution because they're working on a similar workflow.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you've seen the ecosystem here. We've got a huge amount, very healthy partner network. And the user group, the user community, administrators and things like that, consultants around NetSuite's really thriving. But yeah, absolutely. The expertise comes along with that, and isn't it much better to go with what works? Evidence-based, this has worked over and over again, let's go with that, as opposed to, maybe just trying to build something new.
Absolutely. And when we are juggling talent shortages, easier to have someone who is trained and move them into the position.
And we absolutely are juggling talent shortages. And that's a big part of what we're focusing on, helping our clients do more with less, because we know it's harder to get people, it's harder to keep people. So to be able to, provide a better experience for the people that you do have and automate a lot of the kind of the low-end tasks, the low-value tasks, free those people up to do much higher, more fulfilling parts, more strategic, activities for your business.
So are there unique challenges or opportunities Australian businesses can take advantage of in the region?
What's unique to us? I think for the Australian market, there's nothing terribly unique. We're I guess the distance from the rest of the world is a little bit unique. Supply chain challenges aren't new to us, being so far away. But you know what? That's more about the culture than I see that the response isn't technology response, I don't think there. I think Australians are more resilient. They've got that challenger attitude, and we see some fantastic Australian businesses come onto NetSuite in a growth phase of their business and go global and really challenge. We've got some amazing customers. I was out with Jason last night from Speedmaster, who, Australian e-commerce automotive parts supplier with 2,000 SKUs, if you can believe it, being managed. And he's now based in the US and running a business that is multiple times the size it was when they joined with NetSuite, but still with the same core size of their staff, the same team. So driving huge efficiencies there. He's kind of wall-to-wall NetSuite now. But to answer your question, what's unique in the Australian marketplace, I think it's more just to do with the culture than anything about the technology. We are challengers, we're early adopters, we need to get things done now despite the challenges that we see. And that's, how good is that? I deal with a lot of customers. We're very lucky because, typically people start thinking about NetSuite when they're in that idea of can I scale this business? I'm going through some growth. So, the customers that we're working with are very exciting. It's an exciting time for them. It's an exciting time for us.
So how does NetSuite cater to the specific needs of companies in Australia and New Zealand? So I did notice that the product roadmap, they had Australian tax compliance, I believe.
That's right, yes.
With the integration, I think that was through Avalara.
Avalara, yeah. So for Australia, so a lot of our products are, almost all of them are localised for Australian use now. Compliance, tax, that sort of thing. Local language nuances.
So there's no Zs in there.
Yeah.
Z, ANZ, it's ANZ, not ANZ. We have, again, a very healthy partner network, a partner ecosystem, both on solution providers as well as what we call our SDN partners, they're technology partners that build applications on NetSuite. We have a bunch of phenomenally successful Australian partners that are localising things and building solutions that cater to the local market. We have a huge customer base and a very healthy partner network down in Australia and New Zealand. So,
do we have a few unicorns on NetSuite in Australia?
Do we have? We do. We actually do.
You don't need to name them.
Yeah, I don't know whether I can name them, but I was just thinking there, how many are there? I might be sharing too much because I don't think there's that many. But we do, yes.
That's very good. Very good. So we're day 2 of SuiteWorld 2023. What's been one big takeaway from you, for you from the conference?
Oh, look, I think I can't go past this AI. I know it's hyped. I struggle with it because of the hype factor. But then I'm just thinking the practicalities of it. I mean, imagine interacting with the screen, the NetSuite screen, and it's typing in all the content that you don't really want to type, but you have to. And it's suggesting, the right products at the right time, the right place, and helping you make really actionable providing you insights that are very actionable in that same screen. I'm thinking, how is this going to impact our customer? I just can't wait to get it. I can't wait to see the adoption of that and what that means for NetSuite customers around the world. 37,000 customers are going to get access to just be doing things so much easier, faster, with less, errors than ever before. So what is the benefit there? It's a bit mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is mind-blowing. And customers who are curious and who experiment with it will... their velocity of ahead of other people will just be amazing.
That's right, yeah.
Compared to, like someone was saying that he can see updating 30,000 SKUs in 10 minutes with it. And it's like...
Isn't that crazy?
Using ChatGPT, using the GPT within it.
Yeah, it's Cohere. We're partnering with Cohere. But it is generative AI, so it is generating content for you based off, the training that it's had, but it and learning from your account. I just can't wait to hear the benefits of what people are doing with this. I mean, that one that you've just told me, I'm like, wow.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is they can do it that way, but then they could put it into Mexican and into Spanish and into Italian.
Yep.
And they're going multi-country, multi-language. It's
incredible,
phenomenal.
Isn't it? It's just, and so that's the most exciting thing for me. But I got to sit down and think about this. The stories that we will hear in a year's time of how people are using that to drive efficiencies through their business, I just can't wait to hear them.
Yeah, it will be exciting. And
it's a good reason to get on NetSuite, I think.
So thank you so much for joining us on the Cloud Stories podcast. Really enjoyed talking with you. How can our listeners get in contact with you or get in contact with the NetSuite team in Australia and New Zealand? Yeah,
it's really as simple as hit our website, www.netsuite.com. When you do that from Australia, it'll put an AU somewhere. When you do that from New Zealand, it'll get you to the right people. We have a big team in Australia, so you hit the website, have a look, take a product tour, get someone, reach out to us on any of the methods. We will be in touch with you very quickly. No strings attached. If you just want to find out a little bit more about the solution, get a product demo, even if you're thinking about for next year or a couple of years' time, or what if I decide this business that I'm going after is going to go big. I just want to know how what I should be thinking about now, so when the time comes, I can go through this in a smooth process and worry about my business and not about my IT.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Scott.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome.
I hope you like listening to that interview with Scott Wiltshire, Vice President and General Manager of Oracle NetSuite Australia and New Zealand. It seems that there is an enticing opportunity for partners working in the SME space to move into larger scale consulting in the ERP space. From speaking with people at the conference, it seems, as you'd expect, ongoing training in a solution of this size is essential. Many commented how they'd stumbled over existing functionality on a daily basis. It's a huge solution, so working with specialist consultants who can assist with implementation and provide ongoing training would optimise your experience with NetSuite. I think there's also an opportunity for apps sitting comfortably within the Intuit and Xero world to explore the NetSuite ecosystem opportunity. If you have any questions about this episode, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll be happy to explore them further. You have been listening to the Cloud Stories podcast. From here, I suggest you subscribe to the informative Accounting Apps newsletter, which gives you a great overview of the ecosystem space. It's available at heathersmithau.com. I encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn and subscribe to the Cloud Stories podcast that you're listening to at the moment. I'm Heather Smith, and you've been listening to the Cloud Stories podcast.